I believe in safety, is what you say. Let's just test it a little bit. I believe in safety. Can you keep yourself safe is the question, you know? Can you keep yourself safe? You say you can be safe, and you all repeat it to each other, let's all be safe. You even create laws in order to be safe. You even turn your safety and your rights. You're willing to give up your rights to personal responsibility to someone else to keep you safe. Like the cops. God has given authority on earth, and that authority has been given in order to punish evildoers. That is the extent of a cop's authority. He can punish evildoers. That's his purpose. That's what he's supposed to do. That's why God has given him authority. Define an evil doer. What is an evil doer? First of all, a person has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These things come from God, not the United States Constitution. So every person has the right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. In other words, you can do anything it is that you want to do. God's like, hey, you know, whatever makes you happy, it's totally fine. Go ahead, do it. Have a nice time. But God's made it perfectly clear that you cannot take away someone else's right to pursue life and liberty and happiness. You cannot make someone else a hostage to your desires. You cannot take away someone else's free will. If it makes you happy, you have become an evildoer. So, are you an evildoer? If you're taking away someone else's rights to life, liberty, and happiness, you are an evildoer. This is the place where cops step in. You cannot take away someone else's life, liberty, or happiness. You cannot do it. You have been given a sphere of influence. You can operate within your sphere of influence. That's your place. That's wherever that is. But you cannot use your authority to oppress and hate your fellow. When you start to do that, when you start taking someone else's property, when you start taking someone else's life, when you start holding people hostage, you're now an evildoer, and you got punishment coming. But you insist. You must be safe. You have to be safe. You're so afraid of death. This is a number one concern for you. Everybody's afraid of dying. Why are you so afraid of dying? And the reason is clear. You ain't ready to die and meet your Maker, and you know it perfectly well. So you reject God and His ways. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. That's what the Bible says. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. But you don't fear God. You have no fear of God. You do not act in a respectful fashion towards God or His Word. You totally denied it for your own opinions. But your heart is condemning you. You know, hey, I got some serious problems. I'm not ready to meet God, so I got to do everything I can to try to stay alive. But the Bible says everybody is appointed to die. One time. That's all you get. You can only die one time. But you don't want to die. You want to live. So you start making laws to keep you safe. So you give the cops authority to do something so ridiculous like make seatbelt laws. Okay, well, just take a look at the National Transportation Safety Board. They keep statistical data. And you look in the late 80s, I think there were still 46 states that did not have seatbelt laws. The deaths on the highway were recorded at between 46 and 47,000 people every single year died on the freeways and highways and byways. So everybody says, well, we got to do everything we can to stay alive, so we need to be safe. So how can we do that? So you say, well, let's make seatbelt laws. That's a good idea. Then we can be safe. Everybody can be safe. Yeah, okay. So you make laws, and now 49 of the 50 states have seatbelt laws. Well, that's odd. We look at the statistical data, and there's still between 46 and 47,000 people dying every single year on the freeways and highways and byways. Well, how is this possible? Aren't we being safe? How come there's no improvement? We have seatbelt laws, and the cops, you know, they love to enforce that law, among many other ridiculous laws. So you haven't improved your safety, but you feel like you've done something important. You feel like you've done something worthwhile. But you haven't. So the merry-go-round goes round and round. So then you got to blame somebody else for people dying. You don't want to face the fact that people die because they die. For whatever reasons, people die. They're gonna die. You don't want to take responsibility for your own actions. With the seatbelts, you guys put seatbelts on, and you say, the cops are taking care of me because now I'm wearing a seatbelt. So you don't have to look both ways anymore because you're safe. Or you have a seatbelt on. You don't have to pay attention to traffic around you because, hey, you're wearing a seatbelt. You're safe. And it's getting so bad that you drive in this checkerboard pattern. You won't let anybody pass you. And then you drive slower and slower, all because you say you want to be safe. And then you start getting angry at each other because you have no courtesy anymore. You don't even have any courtesy to treat others the way you want to be treated. Somebody catches up to you, you should let them pass, but you don't even let people pass. So what happens? Now you got road rage. And who's blamed for it? The guy just wants to get to where he's going. But here, you're being safe, and so you're blocking the traffic. Blocking traffic. You love to oppress your fellow man, to take his freedoms away. You're not saving anybody's life. You're just making life more miserable and more miserable on each other. Whoa, this is strange. We're all being safe. We're making more and more laws. In fact, you even make bombs. And you call these bombs airbags. And you demand that the car manufacturers put these bombs inside of your cars so that you can be safe. And so every car has all these bombs inside of it, ready to go off at like 30 miles an hour. But we're all being safe because you've got these bombs. You read the warning labels on these things. They can kill small children. You ever see a cop get interviewed after an accident? He'll say, the injuries are consistent with seatbelt usage and airbag deployment. Do you know what those injuries are? These bombs go off with so much force, these airbags, that they hit your face and they'll suck your eyeballs out of your head. If they don't suck your eyeballs out of your head, they will give you such a bruising and damage to your neck that you will be out of work for a long time, just recovering from these bruises that you would have never gotten in such a small accident. But now, everybody's getting these bruises, and they're saying that they're all being safe. Yeah. Do you know what injuries are consistent with seatbelt usage? Broken collarbone, bruised or broken ribs. But I thought you were being safe. You're not being safe. Turning your responsibilities over to someone else. The end result of you doing this is more damage to your person and more injury to your body, because you refuse to take responsibility for your own actions. Not going to pay attention. You're going to be as rude as possible. You got road rage going on now. Everybody's getting more and more angry with each other, all in the name of safety. And then you look at these cops. They just absolutely love the fact that you don't want to take responsibility for yourself. To them, it is a great joy to see your fear when they come up to your car. That is their high point of their life. To see you tremble and sweat and grovel before them. That's what a cop loves. Just loves it. You listen to them when they're sitting at the coffee shops. And they talk about, oh yeah, this guy, he started crying because if he gets one more ticket, he's going to lose his license. And he wanted me not to give him a ticket. And he laughs and laughs, and the man lost his job. Can't feed his family anymore because this cop has no more common sense. He's rejected his natural function. He no longer punishes evildoers. He likes to oppress people because it gives him great joy to make you grovel. You listen to them and they say, yeah, whenever I'm bored I sit at the bottom of a hill and I give tickets. And then they say it's because of safety, but I all know it has nothing to do with safety. They just like to oppress you and hate you and take your job away and to give you financial burdens so great that you're going to be financially a slave to these people. Can't hardly feed yourself anymore. Walking around in fear all the time. That's the result of you turning your personal responsibilities over to someone else. Your fellow man is happy to rule your soul. Why do you reject God? God has given you life. He's given you liberty. And it's His joy and desire to see you happy. Hasn't even put any burdens upon you, except that you would not oppress or take away the freedoms and rights of your fellow man.